I'm not sure I have the right voice to podcast. What if no one listens? I'm worried that people will judge me and think I'm not good, you know?
Honestly, it's completely normal to feel that way. In fact, most people in radio don't really like their voices at first. When you're starting out, it can be tough, but the truth is, your unique perspective and expertise are exactly what some people are looking for. Podcasting is about sharing your voice and building credibility over time. You've got valuable insights, so let's make sure the world hears them.
In the book, my page is actually on my birthday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and it was my 70th birthday. And that was a big deal for me because I look at my life as different chapters anyway. I can break my life up into certain chapters that were pivot points for me. And turning 70 is a big pivot point because I'm doing things that I only dreamed that I could do.
Has your life, your dreams been interrupted? Good news. It is possible to reinvent our lives. People are doing it every day, and some are brave enough to share the struggles, disappointments, and challenges. If you are looking for a new beginning, a do-over, or to rediscover your passion, maybe even find a new one, then grab a cup of coffee and let's talk. Interrupted, Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy, with your host, Coach Lori.
Joellyn Martin has been a friend of mine for about 3 years now. She's an author and an entrepreneur. And I am so excited to hear all the wonderful things you have to tell us, because one of my big things is we're never too old. It's never too late to do something you love. So Joellyn, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lori. I am thrilled to finally be able to do this with you. We've been talking about this for a while. And yes, I think we met about 3 years ago through our health and wellness company. And we just became friends because of that. And I have followed Lori's journey as well with her podcasting and her newscasting. So now we can share a commonality through our adventures and all that encompasses what we're doing right now.
So tell us what you're doing right now.
Well, what I'm doing right now, things don't happen overnight. They start and they stop and they start and they stop. And for me, I always wanted to have a business, write a book, and to be part of something that was bigger than me. And in the last couple of years, that happened through a friend of mine, because this is how it happens. You know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And so she told me about the first book, Ageless Voices. Now, you had to be at least 60 years old to be in this book. And I think she was only like 48. So she said, Joellyn, I heard about this project, and I think you would love it. I was excited about it. And through the journey of the process of being in a book, in a collaborative book, and I think that's a good way for authors to start, is because you're not doing it by yourself. And you have somebody else that knows all the other things. You're just putting in your piece of it. And I love that. So then the next book became The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Abundance. Through Ageless Voices, I met someone who told me about that book. And so the journey has been learning, meeting new people, building up my circle of women that I connect with. And that's fun and that's exciting.
It's interesting you said connection. I was just at the beach and I found a necklace and it had a puzzle piece. And on the back, it said connection.
Wow, I love that. Ooh, because we are all connected.
Joellyn, I love what you said, because one of the things is you had said to me, I want to write a book. There were so many things that you wanted to write about. You were having a hard time. So when you found the Ageless Voices, it helped you get that start. And I love it because I knew there was a book in you and I knew there was a story in you, and you found a platform that gave you your voice. One of the biggest things about podcasting, whether you're writing or speaking, it's especially us older women having a voice, because we were always shushed. We were always told, chin up, move on, don't talk about it. Tell us about the process for you, what it was like.
It's a big process. The woman that created Ageless Voices, it was her idea for a few years. She's now 82 years old. And so her idea was about women getting older have a negative connotation to it. And society tells us that we're too old. to do things. You can only do certain things. You have to dress a certain way. It was very negative. And so she wanted to bring a positive mindset towards aging. So she had put out a broadcast. She was part of masterminds. And one by one, the women were accepting the challenge to be in the book. Now, some people, I have one story, some people have two, some people have three. I was one of the last ones to become part of the project, and that was because someone else decided they couldn't do it. So the timing was perfect for me that I had heard about it and reached out about it fast enough to be a part of it. So I was in the right place at the right time. And so to go through the process of having Zooms, we first started off with coffee chats. Well, we had 3 or 4 women. We were broken up into groups and we got to know each other a little bit about ourselves, our lives, what our stories might be. That started other friendships. And then to be on the monthly or weekly Zooms, it's like, okay, how are we putting this together? Some women had been in books before, so they were helpful with the process. But a lot of us were only first timers. We were just winging it. We were just so excited to just be a part of it. So my excitement just carried me through. And Ageless Voices actually was published in December. It was early December. And it was such a wonderful Christmas gift for all of us because there were times we didn't think it was going to happen. And so the next part of that is we're working on a documentary film.
Tell me about it.
Well, we have little snippets so far. The first part is called Age to Perfection. And we did some interviews and they took snippets of interviews to put together the shorter film, which will be a part of a bigger film that's coming out later this year. So we're looking for connections to help us get the word out, not just on Facebook or Instagram, but by doing podcasts like yours, doing other interviews, and maybe getting on. I did come across someone who does have a social media television channel, and that would really be so exciting for the women to be a part of that.
So you're getting the word out about the project, the books, and it's so exciting to see the joy on your face. Honestly, Joellyn, watching women our age find new areas of success, new areas, like I love what you said about I wanted something that was bigger than me. When we put a story in a book, when we launch a podcast or go on a podcast, that is evergreen. It lives forever. And it's us leaving a legacy to the next generation. They may not be asking now, but when they're ready to hear from us, they'll be able to find us.
Yes. And the other thing that I love too is that in the book, my page is actually on my birthday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and it was my 70th birthday. And that was a big deal for me because I look at my life as different chapters anyway. I can break my life up into certain chapters that were pivot points for me. And turning 70 is a big pivot point because I'm doing things that I only dreamed that I could do.
That makes me so happy. I love it so much. And one thing I was going to say is, the whole stigma of aging is ever since I've known you, I feel like you're aging backwards. Every time I see you, I just feel like you look so fresh, and I would never guess that you were 70. In fact, I might even think you were younger than me, but I love it that you've taken this on. And what I really appreciate is your willingness to wait for the right time.
Waiting is hard because it's not our time, it's God's time.
This podcast is about interruptions. You've had a few. I wonder if you would like to share any of your, even in the process of getting the book done.
When you're going through difficult times, you recognize what it is that you're going through, but you really don't know what's going to happen when you get to the other side. I call it going through the fire and getting to the other side. And so my life was really like one big interruption. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. I had an alcoholic dad, mean man, and my mom was a battered wife. And so there was only so many things that she could do. I was always a good student in spite of all the challenges at home. And it wasn't really until I was a senior where one of the teachers finally caught on about, what's going on with Joellyn's life. I got married young. I was 19. I had my first baby when I was 21, and I loved being a mom. I loved it because I wanted to change the purpose and what I was going through. I was not going to have my family deal with that. It was going to stop with me because it was generational. There were other things that were going on way before I came along. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of my 3 sons and what they're doing with their lives. Next interruption was divorce after 34 years and starting over. It's scary, but you got to do it because if you don't move forward, you're stuck. And I was not going to be stuck because it took me a long time to get to that point. It was going on for quite a while. So you make a decision. Do I want to do what I'm doing because I know what I have and I don't want it? Or do I want to take a chance and do something else? That's what I did. I started the dating. I did online dating. I was 54 years old. It was ridiculous. My friends were laughing at me. In 3 years, I'm gonna pull myself together, and I'm moving on to whatever comes next. So I did have, other jobs in between, and I built my own home, and I had a lot of exciting things happening during that dating process. My chapter in Ageless Voices is called Living My 20s in My 50s. And looking back, I felt like I probably could have, titled that different, but I was a newbie. I'm just here along for the ride. I want to see what happens. And so during the process of dating, I did meet my current husband. We've been married now for 13 years. The interruption with that was 3 months after we were married, his son was killed. To think that you're going to start over in this wonderful fairy tale life was not what I got. I got a nightmare. And it was a true decade of getting through that. Now, there were some wonderful times during that time, but it was stressful and it was difficult. So now the next part, retirement. He's going to retire at some point next year or so, but he's not going to stop working because that's not who he is. In fact, right now we're making plans, hopefully, to start remodeling our lake home, and maybe that's where we will retire. And with having 8 grandchildren, there's a lot going on. I have one that's getting married this year in August. I can't believe it. My grandkids range in age from 8 to 24. And to being a part of their lives is so much fun. And they still want to hang with Nana. So it's cool.
That's the best part.
It is the best part. I've been working on albums for them since they were little. Well, for my boys, I started scrapbook albums for them too. And they were supposed to get their books when they were 18. One got 18. One was in his 20s. My youngest one is 39 and he still doesn't have his book because I'm working on books for the grandkids now. I want to get back into that because for me, that's a legacy I can leave for them because they were little. They don't remember a lot of the fun things that we did. So to be able to share those memories with them is a big deal for me. And it's a big deal for them too. They're looking forward to getting their album. I've been interrupted. I've been distracted, but I love my life. I want to say that this is probably the best time of my life because I'm doing things that I want to do. I'm being called to do, that people that I'm being introduced to, that's going to take me to the next level and being a part of the art of connection. Oh my word. Our book is in the Library of Congress. We went there to DC and then we went to New York. The book was on one of the big screen jumbotrons and we're jumping around like little school kids, getting our pictures taken with our book in the background in Times Square. Who gets to do that? Not a lot of people. It really has been a whirlwind of activity, but it took me a while to get to where I am, but I'm happy where I am. I'm excited about what's coming forward, and I want to make the days count.
What's the title of your chapter in The Art of Connection?
It does go by birthdays as well, but they do it by quotes. So we would all pick a quote. So my quote was, "Live your life ambitiously now, and your future self will thank you."
I love that.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I may have lost focus. I was zigzagged. I had detours. I had things that happened. But I truly believe that God puts us on a course, and we follow that course until. I didn't quit. I did other things, but it was always in my mind to be in a book, to have a business, and to be a part of something that was bigger than me, because that's the course that God put me on. And I finally got there.
I love that you say, I finally got there, because so often I hear people say, oh, it's too late. I missed it.
By being a part of Ageless Voices, the women in this book are age 60 to 99. And she's a vibrant little thing. Then we also have a woman who was the oldest woman to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And she has just recently done, her documentary film has come out, and it was at the Phoenix Film Festival. And so we have some really remarkable women in the book. So it's definitely never too late. They've all been through struggles. And the theme of the book is fun, fearless, and fabulous. And they've all experienced all those things. So I love reading their stories. I like reading true stories. I like history. I like things that matter, that have an effect, that have a purpose, that have a meaning. And then through that, I've met women who have written other books. I bought their books. So I'm reading about their lives and what they've done, and that our stories matter.
That's so beautiful. Our stories do matter. Once you shared your story, what broke free from you?
Well, I've journaled for many years. And I actually have journals from many years ago that I threw away because they were depressing. They were sad. By doing my story, I don't go into a lot of personal details, but it made me write down somewhat of a timeline. That was helpful for me because I do want to write my own book. Oh, I am writing my own book. It was freeing for me to be able to put it down because I was, do I want to write this? My sons are going to want to read the story. It is for women. And I talk about a couple of things that were very personal to me. I'm in the fabulous section, actually. They put me in fabulous. I wanted to make it truthful, but I also wanted it to be light. A couple parts in there are funny. It just forced me to get it down on paper in a professional manner to get me ready for the next thing. When along came Art of Connection, it's 365 days of abundance. Now, talk about the connection there at a point for me in my life when I was experiencing abundance in all different ways and all the things that have happened because of being a part of that. And then what's coming next. And the next book is called Resilience. So I already got some outlines going for that. It's like, if anybody's resilient, I think I can raise my hand.
I agree with that. What would you say was your biggest takeaway?
I got to tell you what, when I ordered my book and I saw my name on the back of this book, I was like, whoa, I did it. So to be a collaborative author, I think is very exciting. And it's a good way to start because you are with other people. You're not doing this by your own. You don't have to find a publisher, an editor, and all the things that go with that. Mm-hmm. So I did feel a sense of accomplishment that women will read my story and it's going to connect with someone, but all the stories are going to connect with someone. I think it's helpful, especially as we get older. There are women in their 40s who think their life is over. And we're going, no, it's not. You got stuff to do. So one of the things that I always say, and that you're going to see one day in this documentary film and in our Road to Perfection, is that I always come back to the part about if we have someone or something to love, something to do, and something to look forward to, we will find what it is that we're looking for. We will find happiness. We will find gratification, and we can live agelessly. Because if you're always having something to look forward to, you're not thinking about the rocking chair. You're thinking about, I got stuff to do. So it's about planning, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. And just be, hey, I'm going for a walk today and I'm going to be in nature. Or yeah, I'm planning this fabulous vacation and everything in between. But just plan something that keeps you vibrant and ageless, and you want to have fun and you want to be fearless, because you can't be fabulous without being fearless.
You were so brave. After 34 years of marriage, and rather than just staying for the kids, you said, this isn't the life I want. Often facing those things maybe doesn't feel like bravery, but it truly is. And starting over, when we start over and show people that it can be done, I think it gives people hope.
Yes, absolutely. And it was scary. It was very scary. I learned something recently saying if you stay in a relationship for your children, you're doing them a disservice because you're not showing them what a relationship should be like, what a partnership should be like, what a marriage should be like. And at one point after my divorce, one of my sons said to me, Mom, why didn't you do this when we were little? And my thought was that it would have been harder to do it when they were little because they all had great relationships with their dad. And I didn't want to take that away from them. I knew that it was going to be different. I sacrificed for them, I think I made the right decision on waiting for my personal circumstances, but that's not for everybody. I mean, you definitely don't want to stay in a relationship if you're being abused, if you're treated badly. Absolutely not. Because then you have to deal with that trauma with your children, because they're going to hear it. They're going to see it at some point. So definitely don't do that.
I love that you said that, though, because often people, whatever they've done, they say, do that. I did it, you do it. But that's not the truth. And I know women that have stayed and it hasn't been great, but they knew maybe the outcome would be so devastating, like you say, death or losing their children. So whatever decision we know that we need to make for ourselves is so powerful. And if it means staying for a while, if it means leaving, if it means getting ready, but that we do it in a way that honors ourselves as we do it.
Yes.
But so again, your two books are called
Ageless Voices and The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Abundance. And the Abundance book also has a journal. Look how big this journal is.
That's huge.
This is huge.
Yes. She's showing us the beautiful picture, and the journal's huge.
Yes, it's not dated, so you can start whenever you want. They put a lot of thought into it. I'm just so excited. When I hear people that say they're so excited, in most cases, they really are excited because they went through something. They figured it out, and they want to share it with other people. So it's not a phony thing to say, I'm excited. I went through the fire. I got to the other side. And there's more. The author of Art of Connection, Robert W. Jones, the book that I was in was the 5th volume. And it was the first time that he did all these extra things, the DC trip and the New York City trip. We're working on the next one. And his whole thing is about, yes, it's community. I told him he reminded me of Mr. Rogers because he just has that heart of wanting people to be a part of this and to create a community and to create these relationships and connections. And he's the perfect person to do what he's doing because he's real, he's genuine, and we all feel it. And it's just fabulous.
Joellyn, thank you so much for sharing. And I am so excited to read, now I'm going to say, your books. But before we go, what is it that you really want us to know?
I think it's about when we're children, we kind of know what we want to do. As children, we're dreamers. As we get older, our dreams fade, but then come back to it full circle. Think about what it is that you really wanted to do, and you will get there if you stay on the path. You open yourself up to the energy to come into you, to bring the right people to you that's going to keep you on that path. So a lot of people say, don't give up, but I think it's more than that. I think it's feeling what it is that you really want to do. What are you thinking about? What is it that you want to do that you would feel so terrible about that you didn't get to do it? I remember one time I was talking to my brother, and there was something that I didn't do. I don't remember now what it was, but it was so simple. He said, well, Joellyn, if it was that important to you, you would have done it. I go, oh. So it's kind of how I live my life now when I have to make a decision, because lots of times things overlap and you have to make a choice. Do I do this or do I do this? And I always come back to which one would I regret not doing? Regret's a terrible word because it weighs on you. It's heavy. I go into the feeling about what it is that you want to do. Is it something you really want to do? Figure it out. You don't have to do it by yourself. Get the support. Open yourself up. If we were not in the health and wellness business, how we met, we never would have met. You just never know. Just put yourself out there. And we talk about being brave. Don't be afraid. Well, it's not about being afraid. It is what you said. It's about being brave. You just do it afraid. That's all.
I love that. So many people say, don't be afraid. And I always stop them. I go, how do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
But we do it afraid. I love that.
That's exactly right. So be brave, do it afraid, do what you feel is on your heart, connect with people that you want to be with. I want to connect myself with fountains, not drains. I want to feel good when I'm around those people. And I want those people to feel good when they're around me. I don't want it to be, oh, geez, I don't want to talk to Joellyn again today. She's such a drag. Like, no, I want to talk to Joellyn because I want to hear what she has to say. I want to hear what she's doing. But it's just, we're learning from experiences. I don't give my opinion. I share my experience. And then you decide what it is that you want to do. I've lived a lot. I've done a lot. I've learned a lot. And if I can help somebody else with the mistakes I made or the right choices that I made, then I'm making a difference. And that's important to me. Maya Angelou, she has a quote that says something about our legacy is all the lives that we've touched. I'm counting the lives. How many lives can I touch? And that's exciting.
I love it. Where can people get your book?
On Amazon, and they are both #1 international bestsellers.
Wonderful.
That's a big deal.
And if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect with you?
The best way would be through Linktree, tr.ee. I think that I do Linktree /Joellyn, JOELLYN for design. Keep going. Don't stop. Just live your life day by day. And to be able to reach 70, a lot of people don't get to reach that age. It is celebrating birthdays. Our Joyanne Gold, who is the author of Ageless Voices, she says, don't dread your birthday. Celebrate it. So I love that. I got that from her, is celebrate your birthdays.
If you love this podcast, here's a big ask. Will you share with your friends and family, subscribe, give us a review, and a 5-star rating so that others looking to reinvent their lives will be able to get the help they're looking for? Thank you in advance.